Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, here for another episode of TMG Takes the Field. It's been a while since I have talked to you last, and the wait is over. I know there's some people who are just waiting for the next episode of Takes the Field. The wait is no more. It's finally here. Sorry you had to wait so long, but not much longer. Last time I talked, we kind of talked about the NCAA basketball tournaments. It's like right at the very beginning, and then I just never hopped back on another episode since then. So I guess we'll talk about NCAA basketball just for a little bit. Couple major stories about the tournament itself. Coach K did have his final game where Duke lost in the Final Four to North Carolina. This was an interesting year for upsets. I believe the Sweet 16, this was the highest number of seedings. They usually will add up all 16 teams. They'll add up their seeds. This year was the highest of any other year. Of course, big upset story. You do have St. Peter's, who beat my Kentucky Wildcats, ended up going to the Elite Eight. Big story there. Michigan, another big story, beating Colorado State in their first game, and then taking out Tennessee in their second. Baylor was the first number one overall seed, losing. They lost to Baylor in the round of 32. North Carolina, of course, would go on to not only end Coach K's season or end Coach K's career, but then also go on to the finals where they lost to Kansas 72-69. Congratulations, Kansas Jayhawks, on winning this year's NCAA men's tournament. And congratulations, North Carolina, for covering the 4-point spread that I bet on you. So I won the bet even though y'all lost. Other stuff that's happened since I have talked with you last. Major League Baseball, the season has actually started. Of course, it had the major lockout going on, so we didn't know when we were going, if it was going to happen. I predicted there'd be an agreement during while spring training was supposed to be going on, and so we might experience a shortage of a season, but it wouldn't go into the season itself. And guess what? One thing in the world I was right about. We did get that agreement kind of in the middle or towards the end of spring training, like 2 weeks before baseball would have actually started. Due to that, though, the season was shorted. They did cancel the first 2 series for every team, but baseball is here. First big news, Miguel Cabrera today joins the 3,000 hit club. He had 2 hits with the Tigers as the Tigers destroyed the Colorado Rockies. Was that 13-0? Yep, 13-0. Fun fact, they're actually playing right now for a makeup game. It's a doubleheader. Rockies are up 3-0. So nowhere near the first game. As far as standings go, right now in the American League East, Toronto is in first place at 10-5, followed right behind the New York Yankees at 9-6. Boston and Tampa Bay are at 7-7. The AL Central, right now Cleveland is in lead at 7-7. Right behind them, just half a game back, is Minnesota at 7-8. Detroit at 6-7, and the White Sox at 6-8. In the West, the LA Angels are winning. The LA Angels and the Seattle Mariners are both tied in first place at 8-6. Oakland right behind at 8-8. Not a lot of people thought that would happen. Houston at 6-8, and then Texas at 5-9. Granted, the season's still young. A lot of people thought the Athletics would have a horrible year this year. They're 500 in the first couple weeks. In the NL East, the Mets are in the lead at 11-4. Atlanta Braves at 7-8. Philadelphia Phillies at 6-9, and then the Miami Marlins 5-8. The AL Central, we have NL Central, St. Louis at 9-4. Milwaukee right behind at 9-6. And then Pittsburgh and the Cubs are right behind at 7-8. followed by the lowly Cincinnati Reds at 2-13. They have the worst record in baseball right now. And then the West, most exciting division last year, should be the most exciting division this year. The Dodgers are in the lead at 10-3, followed by the San Francisco Giants at 10-5. Colorado Rockies are right behind at 8-5, followed right behind the San Diego Padres at 9-6. So still a lot of baseball to happen. I'll keep you posted throughout the year as far as how everyone is doing. Next, I do want to get into the NBA. The NBA playoffs have started. Every season, every series is still going. No team has advanced yet. So I'm like, hey, we can still talk about the first round of the NBA playoffs. In the Western Conference, as far as standings go, Phoenix did finish at number 1, Memphis at number 2, Golden State at 3, Dallas at 4, Utah at 5, Denver at 6. I believe it was Minnesota at 7, the Clippers at 8, the Pelicans at 9, and the Spurs at 10. Might be wrong how the last 4 landed, but I know it was Minnesota and the Clippers, followed by the Pelicans and the Spurs. Interesting fact, the Lakers missed out on the playoffs this year. So everyone who thought that they would win it all, that's not happening. In the East, we have Miami at number 8, Philadelphia, Boston at number 2, Milwaukee at number 3, Philadelphia at 4, Toronto at 5, Chicago at 6, Brooklyn at 7, Atlanta at 8, Cleveland at 9, and Charlotte at 10. As far as play-ins go, Brooklyn did beat Atlanta to make the number 7 seed. Minnesota beat the Clippers to make the 7 seed. Also in the play to get to the 8 seed game, the Pelicans beat the Spurs, and Cleveland beat Charlotte. So then we have the Pelicans taking on the Clippers, and then Atlanta taking on Cleveland. Atlanta and the Pelicans both were victorious. So we have it all set. Right now for the West, we have Phoenix taking on New Orleans. Right now, Phoenix has the lead 2-1. Dallas and Utah. Utah actually tied up the series today. They are sitting at 2-2. Golden State and Denver. Golden State's winning 3-0, and Memphis is beating Minnesota 2-1. As far as the Eastern Conference goes, Miami is beating Atlanta 2-1. Philadelphia is beating Toronto 3-1. Toronto actually won Game 4 today to extend that series. Milwaukee is beating Chicago 2-1, and Boston is beating Brooklyn 2-0. We only have 2 chances for a sweep. Re-looking at it, Golden State is beating Denver 3-0, and Boston is beating Brooklyn 2-0. It'd be interesting if this was the first year, I believe, ever that there was not a sweep. I do not think that will happen, though. It should be tomorrow. Golden State is traveling to Denver to take on the Nuggets in that Game 4. I do think Golden State's going to win that game. Golden State has been playing very well throughout the year. They've definitely had a lot of injuries hurt them last year, beginning and middle of this year. But they are just about at 100%, and they are taking names. I do think that they will beat Denver this year, or beat Denver tomorrow. Going into the Eastern Conference, we have Boston and Brooklyn. Boston right now is winning 2-0. They're not playing, or they are playing right now. Boston is winning 37-27, and then they will play on Monday for that Game 4. I think Boston will win today, but Brooklyn will win Monday, forcing it into a Game 5. I don't think Brooklyn is going to be able to come back from a 2-game loss. 3 games that they're not able to win today. But I do think they'll be able to get a game and avoid the sweep. Boston, I do think, is going to move on. Every other, I'll just go ahead and break down the series, kind of say who I think is going to win. Phoenix and New Orleans. This is an interesting one because Devin Booker was hurt in game 2. And he's definitely going to miss, or he missed the game yesterday. He's definitely going to miss, I believe it's Sunday is the next one. They did manage to win the first game without him. I do think Sunday New Orleans ties it up, but I do think Phoenix will win in 6. I think New Orleans will win one more game, but Phoenix will win the last 2. I don't think Booker will come back for Game 5. I think they will sit him out for Game 5. That being the game that New Orleans ends up winning. Phoenix will win on tomorrow. And they'll be like, hey, Devin, we don't really need you. Turns out we kind of need you. So I do think Phoenix will win in 5. Next, we have Dallas and Utah. This is a really fun series for me. I was hoping to have a friend of mine hop on to talk a little bit about this. He's a Utah fan, kind of. He actually just messaged me right now. He has been posting a lot about how he has no idea who Jalen Brunson is. Fun fact, he's been our starting point guard the entire year. You just don't know his name because Luka Doncic is an amazing player. It was actually really interesting because Luka he missed the first 3 games due to a hamstring injury. He came back today. Utah, however, was able to tie up the series today. So it is 2-2. This is going to be that really exciting series to watch. I do think this is going to go all the way to 7. And if that's the case, they're playing in Dallas. Dallas has home court. I do think Dallas will end up winning the series, but it'll be in 7. Golden State, Denver. I already said I think Golden State's going to win it all. And then Memphis, Minnesota. This one's a really interesting one. Minnesota ended this year hot. And actually, I believe they won the first game of the series. Memphis has come back and kind of slowed them down. I do think Memphis holds on. But don't be surprised if Minnesota ties it up tonight. I do think it'll be Game 5 or Game 6 is when this one ends. That Memphis is going to win this one. Going on to the Eastern Conference, we have Miami at Atlanta. I do like Atlanta. Trae Young is a beast. Fun fact, he was a Maverick for 5 minutes, but that doesn't matter. Well, yes, he's a beast. I do think Miami is just enough better. I do think they have the better overall team, and pretty sure. Yeah. Most of their players who have been battling injuries are day to day, so we should see them. So they are healthier than Atlanta. I do think Miami wins this. I'd say they win it in 5. Philadelphia, Toronto. Toronto, you're lucky you avoided the sweep. Philadelphia, another team that has really been on fire all year, even though they've had a lot of stories surrounding them with Ben Simmons. They got rid of Ben Simmons. They picked up James Harden. Really good pickup for them. I don't think they will be like the overall winners of the trade, but again, it's a new trade, and Ben Simmons hasn't really played for Brooklyn right now. Right now, Philadelphia won that trade. They have been playing so much better since they made that trade. I do think Philadelphia wins this in 5, which means they win the next game. Milwaukee and Chicago. Milwaukee is like everybody's pick to win it all this year. I think I picked them to lose it all because I'm horrible at predicting. They're up 2-1. I do think Milwaukee finishes this one out. I would say this is going to be another Game 6. And then Boston, Brooklyn, I already said a little bit earlier. I do think Brooklyn wins a game, but Boston will finish them out in 5. So I do have Phoenix, Dallas, Golden State, Memphis. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's boring. With Miami, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Boston, 1, 2, 3, 4. I picked a really boring playoffs. It happens. Going on to Phoenix and Dallas. I think Dallas is going to win this one. I think this is going to be another best of 7. I just like Dallas's defense since they started playing Jason Kidd's zone. They have been doing amazing. Phoenix isn't really a physical team, whereas Dallas does have a lot more physical players. So I do think they can outplay them. I think the couple games Phoenix wins are going to be blowouts, and then Dallas wins pretty close games. So it'll just be Phoenix is going to have a couple games where they're hot, and you can't beat their shooting, but Dallas will out physical them and win the series. Then as far as Golden State, Memphis, I like Memphis, which is weird to say because they are rivals with Dallas. I think this will also be a best of 7. They're all best of 7. We'll go to a game 7 where I do think Memphis will win just barely. Again, I feel they're a little more physical than Draymond Green. So we have Dallas and Memphis in the Western Conference Finals. Miami and Philadelphia. I do think Miami will win this one. Philadelphia, just some minor. They haven't really played that well, or they haven't played a lot together. Just some minor things that Miami is going to be able to pick up on. And then Milwaukee, Boston. I think Boston will win this. I'll look for both of these to be game 6 is where they end. So I have on the Eastern Conference 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the or I have 1 and 2, and then on the Western Conference I have 4 and 2. So a little bit of fun going on. As far as my finals, I do think it's going to be Memphis versus Boston. Memphis, has had Dallas's number pretty much all this year. Even though I love the Spencer Dinwiddie trade that Dallas made this year, even though you got rid of Kristaps Porzingis, I do think Memphis will represent the West in the finals. I do think Boston will represent the East in the finals. So we have two number 2 seeds. I do think Boston will win the NBA Finals this year. Should you put money on that? No, that is just what I think. I put money on it, but I'm not going to tell you to. Next, I want to talk about the FIFA World Cup. As most of you know, I am a soccer fan. I played most of my life, and when I was a senior in high school, we actually went on a trip to watch the Seattle Sounders play the LA Galaxy because that's what I wanted to do. World Cup tables have been announced, so I will kind of go over those and say who I think is going to win. So in Group A of the FIFA World Cup, we have Uruguay, Russia. This is an old World Cup one. Never mind. As soon as I saw Russia on there, I'm like, they're not in there. Sorry about that. My computer's just slow, and there we go. So the real Group A, we have Serbia, Portugal, Ireland, and then I believe it's Luxembourg and Azerbaijan. Luxembourg and Azerbaijan are going to be in a playing game. Winner moves on. As far as who wins that game, I think Luxembourg is going to win that game. No real reason for me to believe that. Just I think they're going to win the game. It's not going to really do anything because I do think Serbia and Portugal will be the two to represent Group A. Way the World Cup works, you play everyone in your table once, you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 points for losing because the World Cup doesn't believe in losers. After 3 games, they take the top 2 performers, are the teams that have the most amount of points, and they move on to the actual tournament phase. In case there is tying, they go down to like goals scored, stuff like that. So I do think I'm on the wrong one too. Sorry about this. I was looking at it, I'm like, that doesn't look right, and it wasn't right. Um, there we go. Now I have the actual right groups. The real Group A is going to be Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. Qatar, the only reason they're there is because they are hosting the World Cup. It's going to do them no good because Ecuador and Netherlands are going to be the two to or to move on from Group A, um, which is fun because they play each other in the second match of the Group A stages. Group B, this is why I know that I was in the wrong one again because I did a little digging, and 5 teams from the same continent just doesn't really sound right. All right, so it is going to be England, Iran, the United States, and then this is going to be the first play-in game. Looks like it's going to be Wales versus the winner of Scotland and Ukraine. I do think Ukraine is going to make it um, into the actual bracket, so then it would be England, Iran, United States, and Ukraine. I think it's going to be England and the United States for obvious reasons. Not obvious reasons, they're the best teams in that table. Group C, we have Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Two, I believe, will move on as Argentina and Mexico. Group D, we have France, Denmark, Tunisia, and then another play-in game. This one is going to be, looks like Peru versus the winner of Costa Rica and New Zealand. I do think New Zealand will be the team to move on. Again, for absolutely no reason, just I think they will move on. But it'll be France and Denmark moving on from group number D, group letter D. Group E, we have Spain, Germany, Japan, and then another play-in winner. Looks like it is going to be the winner of United Arab Emirates versus Australia. Probably Australia to win that one. Again, it doesn't matter. Spain and Germany are going to move on from that one. Group F is going to be Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. This one's a fun one because most it's like, hey, these are the 2 best teams of the 4. There are 3 really good teams here. Belgium, Canada, and Croatia are 3 very good teams. Belgium is like one of the best teams playing right now. Canada, winner of CONCACAF, which is what America was in, the kind of North America, Central America bracket. They won it all, and then Croatia is usually like sneaky good. I looking at it, so first round is going to be Morocco, Croatia, Belgium, Canada. I do think Croatia is going to beat Morocco, and then Belgium beats Canada. I think that loss in the first round is going to hurt Canada to where they are not able to recover. I think it's going to be Croatia and Belgium. Moving on. Group G, we have Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. This is another tough one. Serbia is a team I thought was already in it, but looking at the wrong stuff. I do think it is going to be Brazil and Serbia. Group H, we have Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. It's another going to be a kind of fun one. South Korea has absolutely no chance. So it's going to be between Portugal, Ghana, and Uruguay. Again, looking at it, Portugal takes on Ghana on the first match. So I do think whoever loses that game, if it's a win-loss, is going to be third place. So I think it's going to be Portugal and Uruguay are the two teams that move on from there. That's all of the tables. Then we would move on to the knockouts. The way the knockouts work is they take half of the winners, half of the losers play in one side of the tournament, and then the other half play in the second. So it'd be the winner of Group A taking on the runner-up of Group B, winner of Group C taking on the runner-up of Group D, the winner of Group E taking on the runner-up of Group F, the winner of Group G takes on the runner-up of Group H, the winner of Group B takes on the runner-up of Group A, the winner of Group D takes the runner-up of Group C, the winner of Group F takes on the runner-up of Group E, and then the winner of Group H will take on the runner-up of Group G. Probably next week I'll actually dig into the actual brackets themselves and make a fun little tournament that I think is going to be the way it turns out, which means it's not going to be how it turns out at all because I'm horrible at predictions, of course. But then the last thing I have for you today is going to be in the world of the NFL. The NFL draft does take place this Thursday. So I wanted to do I wanted to do an NFL mock draft because that is really fun. And my next week is going to be super busy. So I won't be able to do a show on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, which would be before the draft. And I'm probably not going to do it on Thursday because I will be watching the draft. So I have to do it now. So I did do some in-depth research. I wrote down every single draft. I wrote down every single pick in the first round, who had it, and I was like, this is a good person to fit their scheme. I don't take into consideration trades. I'll kind of break down, hey, this team probably doesn't have to pick there. They can definitely trade down, or if there is a trade to happen, watch out for this team to move up. We'll kind of talk about that a little bit. First, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars picking first overall. This is actually one of those, watch out for the Jags. They might trade down. But from everything that I'm hearing, there's no pick guaranteed. In the first round, usually they're like, hey, we know we're picking first. This is who we're going to pick. Or we're really sure we're picking this one. All insiders are saying like nobody knows who they're picking, not even the Jags front office. However, if I was in the Jags front office, I would go with Michigan edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson for the first overall pick. Two reasons. Number one, he's the best player available. It's the best player available. But second, they have done a great job this offseason picking up players. They've been spending like the economy is going to crash tomorrow. But they've really done a great job at building up their offense. Offense hasn't done great, didn't do great last year. Well, they picked up a lot of receivers. They picked up some offensive linemen, and they're not their first overall draft pick last year, but someone they picked in the first round last year. Travis Etienne, running back from Clemson, is going to be available to play. He did not play last year due to a torn ACL. So with that, hey, let's build up that offense. Number two, we have the Lions. Again, another team I wouldn't be surprised if they trade down. But it's interesting to know because this is Motor City Dan Campbell's second draft. I believe he was with the team last year's draft. Didn't have the best season last year. Was crushed by a record-breaking field goal. So who do I have them taking? A lot of people thinking pick up a wide receiver. I think they should pick or not a wide receiver, a quarterback with Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett. I think they should pick up Evan Neal, offensive tackle for Alabama. Plain and simple, Jared Goff has had three coaches, and he has won like 3 games with a coach not named Sean McVay. One thing I don't hate Jared Goff. I think he can succeed with the right team around him. He did take the Rams to a Super Bowl 3-4 years ago. So hey, build around him. Doesn't work out, get a better quarterback. Because let's be honest, there's not a lot of great quarterbacks in this year's draft. Maybe they can pick up a better quarterback next year if Jared Goff has another bad year, or maybe they can pick one up in free agency. But one way you can be sure to get a great quarterback in free agency, have a good team around them. So get an offensive lineman, Evan Neal, best lineman available in the draft. So they should pick him up at number 2. Texans at number 3. I think that they will pick defensive end out of Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeaux. Kayvon Thibodeaux, someone who had a lot of hype going into this year in the college football season. A lot of people kind of thinking he would be a Heisman contender. That backfired whenever he had an injury in the first game of the season. That being said, though, pretty sure he sat out the rest of the year. Kind of worked on himself, but he has been called the next Jadeveon Clowney. He said some stuff that have some people dropping him because they thought he'd be number 1 this year too. And then has that injury issue. It's not a bad injury, but if he's the next Jadeveon Clowney, why not the Texans pick him up? It's like an all or nothing pick. He's either gonna be great or he's gonna be horrible. Texans, you can handle having a horrible pickup. Next, we have number 4. We have the Jets. Jets have a lot of question marks. I think the question mark that they should fill will be Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. Their head coach, Robert Saleh, is a big defensive guy. Let's get a good defense in there. The Jets, I believe, have 2 picks in this year's first round, both of which in the top 10. Let's take the best safety out there. Let's build that secondary, and let's be a menace to the teams in the AFC East. Next, we have the Giants picking at number 5. This is another watch for them. They would definitely be willing to trade away that pick to move back, kind of get some more draft capital going. But if they don't, who I think that the Giants should pick up, edge out of Georgia, Tavon Walker. Tavon Walker, beast with Georgia. Georgia had the best defense this year. One reason why they won it all. Giants didn't really have a great defense this year. Teams were able to walk all over them. They picked up a offensive-minded head coach, so hopefully their offense will do a lot better just from that. But let's also build that defense. And then I have Vaughn. I love you, dude. Hashtag Pierce, because that's my coworker, Pierce. Pierce, I love you too. Thank you for watching. Number 6, we have the Carolina Panthers. This is my first quarterback off the board. I do think they're going to pick up Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pittsburgh. I really enjoyed watching Kenny Pickett this year. I think he is the best quarterback available. Yes, I know Malik Willis played this year. Small school quarterbacks generally don't perform as well. I know you have Joe Flacco and Carson Wentz who kind of prove that wrong, but also at the same time don't prove that wrong. Pittsburgh's not a huge school, but it's a lot bigger than Liberty. And just watching his raw talent, I mean, they had to make a rule to where if you pretend to dive, you're a quarterback diving. Because he would do a fake dive, and it would be amazing because he'd go one way, pretend to dive, and then just cut up the middle or across the sideline and run it all the way for a touchdown. He does have raw talent. Definitely could be a lot better at some decision making and throwing. But I think having him under Matt Rule's system, which Matt Rule tried to get him, I believe, at Temple, but he ended up just signing or committing to Pittsburgh. Matt Rule finally gets his guy. Panthers pick up Kenny Pickett. Number 7, we have the Giants again, who just picked at number 5. I don't think they're going to trade away this pick. I think they're going to use it to get Ikem Ekwonu. Mispronounced your name. I am sorry. Make me to where I'm embarrassed for mispronouncing your name. Do fantastic. Offensive tackle from North Carolina State. This is going to be the best way to build your offense. Give Daniel Jones a year under that new system. See how well he can do. And they have Saquon Barkley, who's a beast at running back if he can stay healthy, and 28 wide receivers. So let's get a great lineman to help protect Daniel Jones. Maybe 5th, 6th round pickup quarterback, just in case he's not doing that good. Number 8, we have the Falcons. This is another interesting one. Of course, they just got rid of Matt Ryan, picked up Marcus Mariota to take his place. So do they go for a quarterback, just in case Marcus Mariota isn't as good as we thought he was, which is why he has been a backup the last 2 years? I don't think they do. They might pick one up in the later rounds, but I think at number 8, they pick up Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State. Calvin Ridley is suspended for who knows how long. If he ever comes back, we do not know. And you can't be the best team in the NFL whenever you have Zacchaeus as a wide receiver. So they definitely need to give Kyle Pitts some more weapons so he's not the only person catching balls. Wide receiver, Ohio State, Garrett Wilson. He's going to do that for you. Number 9, we have the Seahawks. Didn't have a first-round pick until they drafted away Russell Wilson. So do they pick up a quarterback? I do not think so. I think they pick up Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback out of LSU. They did have to get rid of some of their cornerbacks this year just due to cap issues. They weren't able to re-sign them. So let's pick up the best cornerback in the draft this year to kind of fill one of those holes. Number 10, we have the Jets again. I don't think they're trading either they might trade away the 4th. I don't think they will. They're definitely not trading away the 10th. I think they're going to pick up Ahmad Gardner, cornerback from Cincinnati, the second best cornerback. I definitely think they wanted Derek Stingley, but could not get Derek Stingley because he went one pick in front of him. So they're going to pick up another great cornerback. At 11, we have the Washington Commanders. New name. Do with it what you will. A lot of people hate it. I don't like it. This was a team that was asking everybody if they were sold on their quarterback because apparently Taylor Heineke wasn't their guy. I thought he was going to be their guy. They picked up Carson Wentz over the offseason. You know my feelings on Carson Wentz. I love the guy. I hate Washington. So for that, they're going to kill Carson's confidence immediately by drafting Malik Willis, quarterback out of Liberty. It's going to be just like the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers situation. It's going to do absolutely nothing good for the team. Malik Willis is not starting. Carson's going to start. Going to hurt his confidence, unfortunately. Carson's going to have to go to a 4th team where he will finally ball out like he was with the Eagles for so long and like what he should have done with the Colts, but the Colts weren't patient. At number 12, we have the Vikings. Just re-signed Kirk Cousins to a massive deal. So let's protect Kirk Cousins. At number 12, they should be picking up Charles Cross, offensive tackle from Mississippi State. Big ol' SEC boy. Great offensive lineman. Protect your quarterback you just spent a huge amount of money on. Number 13, we have the Texans again. Then they might be willing to drop down. I don't think they will. I think they're going to be picking up interior lineman from Northern Iowa, Trevor Penning. Build up that offensive line. Apparently Davis Mills is their guy. Get a good offensive line around him. Trevor Penning is good for that guard position. Next, we have number 14, the Baltimore Ravens. Kind of an interesting pick here because they're a really good team. They were battling injuries last year, so should they draft another running back? No, because you're not going to get five running backs tear their ACL again. That was weird. No, figure out what happened there and fix that issue. I do think they will draft offensively again this draft. Their biggest need, in my opinion, are some more wide receivers. So I am thinking that they will pick Jameson Williams, wide receiver of Alabama, just to give Hollywood Brown another person to kind of help with coverage. Of course, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews are their two biggest weapons on offense. So give Lamar another fun weapon. And hey, Hollywood Brown has Butterfingers. So they also drafted who did they draft last year? They drafted a wide receiver last year who was doing the exact same thing. Grab another one. Why not? It's always good to have three receivers. You generally have three anyway. Next we have at number 15, the Philadelphia Eagles, my favorite team. They had 3 draft picks in the first round this year. They traded one away to the Saints, but they picked up a lot more in that place. I love that. I love that trade. I have always been saying the Eagles have had a horrible secondary for the last 10 years, so let's fix that by drafting Trent McDuffie, cornerback, out of Washington. Their secondary is starting to get better. I like some of the things that they have done, but let's make it even better. Number 16, the pick the Eagles gave to the Saints. I think the Saints will pick up Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State, for one major reason. I can't name a single wide receiver for the Saints, except for Michael Thomas. But I don't even know if Michael Thomas is still on the team. He's probably gonna, if he's still, he's probably gonna get traded this during this draft. They're gonna pick a wide receiver though. At 17, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, this is another pick that I think they'd be willing to trade back for. But I do think if they keep this one, they will pick up Kenyon Green, interior lineman from Texas A&M. Again, another big old SEC boy to help protect Justin Herbert. At number 18, we have the Eagles picking again. They worked on their secondary last pick, so a lot of people will say, hey, get your wide receiver this pick. Best wide receiver available is a USC wide receiver. I don't know about you. I saw PTSD from Nelson Aguilar. So with that, let's pick up Daxton Hill, safety from Michigan. Again, I want to build up that secondary. Because it has been a laughing stock. Defense really has been a laughing stock since that Super Bowl win. Two biggest keys, linebackers and secondary. I love the Hassan Reddick signing to fix some of that linebacker issues. But let's get another secondary. Plus, this is a deep draft with secondary and receivers. Sure, we can pick up a good receiver in the second round. At number 19, we have the Saints again. I think they will pick up the best available player, Jermaine Johnson, Florida State defensive end. Really no reason why I think that, just get the best player available. And from what I was looking at this point, he would be the best player available based on who I believe is getting picked. Number 20, we have the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to be a prime team to want to move up if they want to pick a quarterback because Kenny Pickett, hey, he's a Pittsburgh boy. The fans would love that. Malik Willis, great dual threat option. I think they will get a quarterback this year. However, if they're not able to make a move and other teams are, I think they're going to pick up Desmond Ridder, quarterback of Cincinnati. Desmond did a great job taking Cincinnati 3 straight years undefeated. Took them to the playoffs this year where they played Alabama. I don't know what you expect with that one. So I do think they will get their new quarterback after Big Ben retired. Because let's be honest, Mason Rudolph's great at taking helmets to the face. Mitch Trubisky is great at absolutely nothing. So Desmond Ridder is going to be their new quarterback. Next, I have the Patriots. One thing that they really struggled with last year is their defense. For the most part, they weren't able to stop the Bills. The Bills made fun of them. Bill Belichick is a defensive guy, so let's get defensive tackle from Georgia, Jordan Davis. Another great member of that Georgia defense that helped them win a national championship. Let's get him to New England and stop that run, and also kind of scare the quarterback, sack him a bunch of times, because that's what defensive tackles do. At number 22, we have the Packers. Watch out for this team to move up in the draft if they want to pick up Garrett Wilson, who is the best wide receiver in the draft. However, if they don't, I think they will have a decent wide receiver just fall into their laps here. I think they're going to pick up Drake London, wide receiver of USC. At number 23, we have the Cardinals. Lot of crazy stuff over the offseason happening with the Cardinals. Of course, we have the Kyler Murray drama that is happening, but then also Chandler Jones, one of their linebackers, left to go to Oakland. So we have that big hole at linebacker. We're going to fill that with Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. At number 24, we have the Dallas Cowboys, a team that had the worst offseason, getting rid of a lot of players for nothing, really. Of course, they didn't re-sign Randy Gregory, even though they had him re-signed, and then made a dumb decision to be like, hey, we're going to change up your contract just a little bit. Yeah, Randy Gregory's not staying with them now. And then Amari Cooper, one of the better wide receivers in the league, definitely in the NFC West, or the NFC East, whenever he was a part of that team. They got rid of him for a 5th and 6th round pick. What are y'all doing? So because of that, I think they really need to pick up another wide receiver. So they're going to pick up Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. Next at 25, we have the Bills. This might be a team that just wants to move back because I don't think the Bills have a lot of question marks. I can think of 2, running back and pass rush. Do they go with a running back here? Generally, it's the last 5 picks is when we see some running backs go. So it'd be a little early for one. There's not really a big name running back this year. So I do think that they are going to pick up defensive end out of Purdue, George Karlaftis. Again, I mispronounced your name. Give me a reason to pronounce your name better. But defensive end out of Purdue, whatever his name is, help out that pass rush. Probably one of the reasons why they lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs because they couldn't get to Patrick Mahomes quick enough. Picking up a good defensive end is going to fix that. At number 26, we have the Titans. They've had a pretty interesting offseason too. They've lost some players, gained some players, but again, not a ton of question marks. But one thing, something that always helps, build up your offensive line. And for that, I think they should pick up Tyler Linderbaum, interior lineman from Iowa. Not only is he going to protect Ryan Tannehill, he's also going to help open up some holes for Derrick Henry. Although Derrick Henry doesn't need holes opened up for him because he can just push players out of the way. It's always a good idea to have a good line around you. Number 27, we have the Buccaneers. Again, a team I believe could draft down if they wanted to. One of their only question marks last year was secondary. They've lost a couple players in the offseason, didn't really do a great job of filling those needs. But I do think they're going to pick up Andrew Booth, cornerback out of Clemson, to help work on that secondary. At 28, we have the Packers. Again, this might be a one that they trade down, or if they try to trade up, they get rid of this pick to whoever they trade up for, along with some other capital. But in case they don't, hey, let's build up that line. Zion Johnson, interior lineman from Boston College. The next two picks both belong to the Kansas City Chiefs. They might package those two deals to send to San Francisco to pick up Deebo Samuel. They might package both those picks to move up in the draft. We will see. However, if they don't, number 29, look at, or actually, both picks, defensive players from Georgia. First, I have them picking up Lewis Sine, safety from Georgia. And then with number 30, I think they're going to pick up Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle from Georgia. The Lewis Sine pick is great because they did not re-sign Tyrann Mathieu. And then the Devontae Wyatt just to build up that defense. A lot of people think they should pick up a receiver since they have that pick because of a receiver. That's why I think if they pick up a receiver, watch for them to move up. But I think if they keep both these picks, to get some of the best available, build up that defense that has really been abysmal the last couple seasons. At 31, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Do I think that they can go to the Super Bowl again with the team they have right now? Yes, I do. One thing, too, this team did a really great job of signing some players to fill up that offensive line. So let's go ahead and add another member of that offensive line. Interior lineman from Central Michigan, Bernard Raymond. And then we have the last draft pick of the first round, the Lions, because they got it from the Rams for picking up Matthew Stafford. Watch out, Lions. You're going to get a defensive player. Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Georgia. Is that the first linebacker picked up? I think so. Nope, not the first linebacker. Should be the first linebacker, but he's not. Nakobe Dean, beast of a man, did great with Georgia. Of course, Georgia had the best defense, and I felt like I said their name a lot for this mock draft. How confident am I in this? Not confident at all. I mean, if you're going to place money, I'd place on like the first three picks. Not even that. Really, the only one I'm confident in is Aiden Hutchinson going to Jacksonville. And then I think Kenny Pickett will not last longer than pick 6. If somebody picks him up before that, okay. If he is on the board when the Panthers draft, they are picking him up. But yeah, definitely probably going to be some trades going on. This is also one of the first years with several teams having multiple picks in the first round and multiple picks like side by side. I mean, the Lions and Giants both have 2 in the top 10. Yeah, the Jets and Giants. The Lions 2 and then 32. Not really that close. And then the Eagles and Saints both picking right after each other. Eagles and then the Saints. 2 picks later, Eagles, Saints, and then the Chiefs going boom, bam. I don't remember ever seeing that before in the first round. I'm sure it's happened in later rounds, but never this soon. So there will definitely be some big moves going on again. Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Kansas City, I think are the 3 biggest contenders to make a big move to move up in the draft. Or there's like a couple days before draft day, there's a big trade going on. Deebo Samuel is probably going to be out of San Francisco here pretty soon. So that's going to be an interesting predicament happening. But with that is all I have for you today. So let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to go number 1 overall? Am I right? Probably not. So tell me who's going instead. of Aiden Hutchinson. Who's your favorite team going to pick up in the first round too? Or if they don't have a first round pick, who they're going to pick up with their first pick? I know Matt Beer, big Colts fan. Colts are picking second. He's already predicted them picking up like 3 different wide receivers. Let me know if there are going to be more or less quarterbacks taken. If I had to put money on it, 3 is a great number. I can see 4 though. Of course, there's Sam Howell, and I completely blanked on his name. But we might see Sam Howell get drafted pretty soon in the first round too. I don't think any more than 4 because I just blanked on the 5th one's name. Desmond Ridder might not go in the first round. They might pick up Steelers might pick up Sam Howell instead, if what I'm saying is happening. Please, if you like this video, leave a little thumbs up. It means a lot to me. Comment what you like. Comment what you didn't like. I'll probably read them. Be sure to also subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of great stuff going on. We have Movie Battleground, our movie debate league. I am taking up Austin. I'm taking out Austin Howell here pretty soon. Austin, I will beat you, no matter how much you think you can beat me. Colton Roberts just had a kid on the best day to have a kid, March 25th. He does the Supernova show where he talks everything geek related. Here in a month, Kenobi's coming out. I know the Inquisitors look horrible, but I imagine they're going to be super scary. He's going to talk about it. Also follow us on our sister show, the TMG Trivia. Kevin just finished up with the TM Geek tournament. That championship match should be dropping relatively soon if it hasn't already dropped. I wrote questions for that. They didn't get asked though, from my knowledge. But I still contributed. The TMG singles tournament is also happening at this moment. Just like Takes the Field, it's taking a little bit of a break, mainly because I didn't feel like writing anything for the past couple of weeks. But that is changing because I have kicked butt at writing lately. And then also TMG teams, Steven and Bruce Boyd are taking on a secret opponent because Steven won the TMG Fantasy Football League. He picked a number 1 contender match in teams, and I let him pick the team he's going to go up against because it's a new enough league. I don't really have much as far as a ranking. And he picked a team, so they are going to be taking on each other very soon. I'm almost done with that match, so that will be scheduled very soon and then released very shortly afterwards. But for everyone at TMG, both trivia and entertainment, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day and stay safe. Or don't. Not your dad. But I could be your papa.